he had any type of financial problems whatsoever, bank accounts, stocks, real estate, lots of different commodities, and that's his background.
Let me go to Aaron O'Brien, who's also joining us down in Fort Myers, Florida. We mentioned before, a former prosecutor, now a noted criminal defense attorney down in that area. And Aaron, I'm going to put you inside of this courtroom now, knowing what we know about Donald Moringiello, about his testimony the first time around. Would you put him on the stand to testify in this case?
Well, I think he's a client you can put on the stand, Jack. The only downside to that is the cat's already out of the bag. In other words, the state has a bit of a benefit here because this is a retrial. Under ordinary circumstances, or in the first trial, the one unknown in a criminal trial is what the defendant's testimony is going to be. In Florida, we're entitled in felony cases to take depositions of the witnesses, and obviously that would not include the criminal defendant because of the Constitution. So the prosecutor does not know what he's going to say prior to his stepping up onto the stand. However, that's not the case this time. And should he slip up or err from the testimony he did last time, it could spell disaster for him. But as Gene pointed out, this is a bright man and somebody that you could place up there and hope he wouldn't be rattled.
Christine, I'll make you the prosecutor in this case. Based on what we've seen so far, would you expect that he will testify?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I think even just seeing a little bit of him speaking, he's, as Aaron was saying, he's a good witness, and he's going to get up there, and he's, you know, he's quiet. He seemed to come across clearly, but as far as their defense, though, basically saying he had a good marriage. All the other witnesses were saying they had a good marriage, they never argued. And then we were hearing that in the last case, which he's going to have to repeat in this case, that this defendant thought his wife left him. That he didn't want to tell the police because that would be embarrassing, so let me wait to see if she comes home. My biggest fear came true, she left me. Well, that flies in the face of their other witnesses that they put on the stand to testify that they had a good marriage, that they never argued, that there were no problems with this couple, so why would he kill her? So I don't know how they're going to reconcile that if the prosecution picks up on it and then brings it home in closing arguments.
You're such a prosecutor. I was looking at this prosecutor stuff. Hey, Aaron, it would seem to me, and again, as you know, the ultimate decision is always the client's, whether the client testifies or not. And, you know, as defense attorneys, you know, you can give them the pluses and minuses, you can try and steer them in one direction or another. But it would seem to me, as you said, having the luxury of a client who you can put on the witness stand, who's doesn't have a prior criminal record that would come out, who's educated, who can tell a story. And if you superimpose on that the fact that we're told the first jury was hung 5-1 for acquittal, my guess is it would be tough to convince him in any fashion that he shouldn't be taking the stand. What do you think?
That he should not take the stand, Jack?
I think it'd be tough to convince him why.
I agree. I wouldn't spend any time. It ultimately is the client's decision, and I certainly wouldn't spend much time trying to talk him out of it if it was 5-1. That was you know, there's substantial amount of evidence, and to be that close to an outright acquittal, it must have had something to do with Donald Moringiello's own testimony.
Certainly you would think that. Gene, quick last question to you before we lose you so that you can get prepared to head back inside of that courtroom when they get started again. What are we looking at in terms of the schedule so far, and are they